All right, ready to dive in. Today we're tackling the minds of marketing giants, Ries and Jack Trout.
Oh, this will be good.
Yeah, their book, 22 Immutable Laws of Marketing. We're going deep, like a crash course in branding, the forces behind the brands all around us.
You know, a lot of people have been asking for a breakdown of marketing fundamentals.
Exactly, really getting to the core of it all.
And I'll tell you, some of these principles, pretty surprising, even counterintuitive.
Oh, that's what I love. Makes you think differently.
It really does. Gets you rethinking how marketing actually works.
I'm intrigued already. So where do we even start with all these laws?
Well, Ries and Trout, they lead with a super powerful idea. Perception is king. They argue that marketing, it's not just about the product, the features, the objective quality.
It's about image, right?
Exactly. It's all about shaping how people perceive your product, your brand, even your whole company.
So like, even if you have the best product out there, if people don't see it that way, you're sunk.
Exactly. They use a great example, Honda.
Yeah, Honda, the car company, right?
Well, here in the US, yeah, one of the top selling imports. But think about it.
What, like their reliability?
Their home market, Japan, they're known for something else.
Really?
The motorcycles, primarily.
No way.
Yep. And because of that, that ingrained perception, Japanese consumers less likely to buy Honda cars? Wild.
Wild. Same company, same products, totally different outcomes.
All because of perception.
Makes you wonder, like, what assumptions do I have about brands?
It really does.
So if perception is so key, how do you even shape it? Is it all about being first, like Ries and Trout say with their law of leadership?
Being first, it definitely gives you a huge leg up.
Right, like a head start.
Big time. Think about it, someone says tissues, what pops into your head?
Kleenex, of course.
There you go. Or photocopier.
Xerox. Oh, okay, I see what you're getting at. They were the first, so they basically became the product.
Exactly. It's about being first, not just in the world, but in the customer's mind.
First impressions.
Those first impressions, those initial associations, they stick deeply.
But why? Why are first impressions so powerful?
Lots of psychology at play. Cognitive biases, definitely. Like the availability heuristic. Ever heard of it?
Rings a bell, maybe?
Basically, we tend to think things are more important if they come to mind easily. So, first brand you think of. More likely to see it as the leader, the reliable choice.
Plus, our brains, they love shortcuts, right?
Love them.
Easier to go with what's familiar, so brand leader equals shortcut.
You got it. That's why that top-of-mind awareness is so crucial, especially these days, bombarded with information everywhere.
But what if you're not the first one? Like, game over.
Not at all. Ries and Trout offer some seriously clever strategies for that. It's not always about being first in a huge market. Sometimes it's about narrowing your focus.
Okay, I'm listening. Tell me more.
They've got this law of category. If you can't be first in an existing market, create a new category altogether.
So like your own little corner.
Exactly, one where you automatically become the leader.
Clever. But how do you actually do that? Any examples?
Think Charles Schwab. Back in the 70s, the brokerage world, totally dominated by the big players, but Schwab saw an opening.
He didn't try to go head-to-head, did he?
Nope. They created discount brokerage.
Instead of just another firm, they made a whole new space. And they were the instant expert. Brilliant.
Right. Redefine the rules of the game. Worked like a charm, huge customer base in no time.
These laws, they're not just theories, they're tools.
Tools anyone can use, absolutely.
So let's say you've got a product you're not first, and a whole new category seems like a stretch, what then?
Well, there's this other principle, the law of the opposite. Super interesting.
Opposite of being first, what's that even mean?
It's more about positioning, really. You're up against a big player, right?
Right.
Instead of copying them, you embrace what makes you different.
You turn their advantage into your unique thing.
Precisely. Plays into how people connect with brands, too. Classic example, Coke versus Pepsi.
Oh, the Cola Wars.
Coke, they had that broad everyone appeal. So Pepsi, they went for the younger, rebellious crowd.
The Pepsi generation. I remember those ads. It's like they were saying, if you want to be different, drink Pepsi.
Exactly. Tapped into that desire for individuality. We choose brands that reflect who we are, who we want to be.
This is blowing my mind, looking at everyday products differently now.
It's eye-opening, isn't it?
So we've got being first, embracing the opposite. Any other mind games in this marketing playbook?
Oh, yeah. Ries and Trout, they emphasize the power of words. Finding that one word that instantly connects your brand to an idea.
Like the brand's essence in a single word.
Exactly. You own that word in the customer's mind, What do you think of when you hear Volvo?
Safety, for sure. It's their whole thing.
There you go. It doesn't have to be literal, could be a feeling, a benefit, an experience.
Right, but it has to be genuine, something that clicks with your audience.
Absolutely.
So new product launch, you ask yourself, what's the one word I want people to think of?
Exactly. It becomes a shortcut for them to understand your brand.
But there's a catch, right? You can't just grab any word.
Oh, no, definitely not. Can't steal a word already linked to another brand. Like, remember when Energizer tried to claim long-lasting?
Oh,
Duracell already owned that.
right. Choose wisely, make sure it's truly yours,
Yeah.
and once you've got it, guard it with your life.
This is a battle for the mind, remember?
It is. Speaking of battles, what about the law of sacrifice? That one always throws me off a bit.
It's definitely counterintuitive. The idea is sometimes less is more.
Less is more. In marketing, how?
Instead of trying to be everything to everyone, you gain more by focusing. A few core products, specific target market.
You're saying no can actually be the key to success.
Exactly. Think about it. Limited resources, right? Time, money, energy. Spread yourself too thin and you end up with mediocre results across the board.
But when you focus, you excel.
You excel. It's all about resource allocation. Pinpoint what truly matters, your strengths. Pour your energy there. Saying no to some things allows you to say a big yes to what has the biggest potential.
It's like in life, you can't do everything, but you can do a few things really well.
Exactly. It's about prioritizing. So you've sacrificed some products, some customers, honed your focus. What's next in this master plan?
Well, now I'm curious, what's the next step?
Ries and Trout have another law for that, builds on that idea of focus, the law of division.
Division, okay. Tell me more about that.
It's about recognizing that over time, product categories, they split. They naturally divide into subcategories.
Okay.
And the smart companies, they anticipate this. They create separate brands for each segment.
So instead of one giant generic brand, you have multiple brands, each with its own identity.
Precisely, like different facets of a personality, you know? Different things to different people, but your core identity remains strong.
Okay, that makes sense. Any good examples of companies doing this well?
A classic one, General Motors. They didn't try to cram all their vehicles under just Chevrolet. They created Pontiac, Oldsmobile, Cadillac, each targeting a specific customer.
Right. Different aspirations, different lifestyles, but all under that GM umbrella.
Exactly. Strategic thinking like that, crucial for navigating the complexities of the market. But there's a potential pitfall, even for the most successful companies, the dangers of arrogance.
Oh, that doesn't sound good. What do they mean by that?
Well, success, it can be intoxicating, leads to arrogance, and that can blind you to your weaknesses, to new trends.
You get stuck in your ways.
Exactly. You fail to see the changes happening around you.
Any examples of companies that have fallen victim to this?
A classic cautionary tale, even for the giants. DEC, the computer giant of the 70s, remember them?
Vaguely. Remind me.
Dominant force in the computer industry, completely missed the personal computer revolution.
What? They didn't see it coming.
Their founder, Ken Olsen, famously dismissed the idea of PCs. No market for them, he thought.
He thought personal computers were just a fad. Oh, the irony.
Right. He was blinded by his own success. Result, DEC went from leader to almost forgotten in a few short years.
Wow, that's a harsh reminder that anyone can fall no matter how big you are.
It is. So how do you combat this? How do you stay grounded, avoid those arrogance-fueled mistakes?
Yeah, how do you stay humble?
Well, Ries and Trout, they have some advice on that. Might sound a bit surprising. Embrace failure.
Wait, embrace failure. Isn't marketing about avoiding failure?
Might seem counterintuitive, but their argument is really compelling. Be open about your mistakes, acknowledge them, learn from them, don't try to hide them.
So instead of pretending to be perfect, you're saying brands should be more transparent about their shortcomings.
Precisely. Think about it. Would you rather do business with a company that's honest, even when they've messed up, or one that tries to pretend they're flawless?
Good point. Honesty is more relatable, I guess.
It is. And it builds trust. Trying to hide mistakes erodes trust. But admitting them, that enhances your credibility. Shows responsibility, a commitment to learning, to improving.
That could actually be really powerful. Any examples of a company using this candor approach well?
One of the classics, Listerine versus Scope.
Oh, I love those marketing battles. What happened?
Well, Scope, they launched a campaign attacking Listerine's, shall we say, unique taste.
Yeah, Listerine's not exactly known for being a sweet treat. So how did Listerine respond?
They could have denied it, tried to spin it, but they didn't. They embraced the criticism, made it their new slogan, the taste you hate twice a day.
No way. They owned the negative and made it a positive.
They did, implied that the strong taste meant it was working, turned a weakness into a badge of honor.
That's genius marketing. Shows how a little candor can go a long way.
And it ties back to that authenticity we talked about. Consumers, they can spot a fake a mile away.
But when a brand is real, even when it's not flattering, it builds trust.
Exactly. Makes them more human, more relatable.
Wow, this has been eye-opening. I'm seeing marketing in a whole new light.
It's a whole new perspective, isn't it?
Perception, leadership, choosing the right words, embracing the opposite, the power of focus, admitting mistakes. So much. Is there anything else we should keep in mind as we navigate this marketing minefield?
One more law I think is particularly relevant these days. We're bombarded with marketing messages everywhere, right?
Non-stop.
It's the law of hype.
Okay, lay it on me. What's the deal with hype?
Ries and Trout warn us, don't be swayed by all the buzz and publicity. Just because something is generating headlines doesn't mean it's destined for success. Sometimes the loudest voices are the most insecure.
You mean all that noise can actually be a sign of weakness?
Think about it. Companies that are truly performing well, they often don't need all the hype. They let their products and their results speak for themselves.
It's the ones that are struggling that resort to all the flashy campaigns and press conferences.
Exactly. They're trying to compensate for something. It's easy to get caught up in the excitement, especially with social media these days, but we have to be more discerning.
So how do you cut through the hype and figure out what's real and what's just marketing?
Well, for starters, be skeptical.
Yeah.
Don't just accept everything you hear or read, especially if it sounds too good to be true.
Right, like if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is.
Do your own research, look beyond the headlines, and consider the source. Who's saying this and what's their motivation?
Good advice. Always good to be a little bit skeptical. So let's say a competitor catches you off guard, exposes a weakness in your brand, maybe even launches an attack campaign. How do you respond to that kind of pressure?
Well, Ries and Trout have a surprisingly effective strategy for that. Candor. They call it the law of candor.
Candor, you mean like being honest and straightforward, even when it's uncomfortable?
Exactly. They say that when you've made a misstep, the best approach is to admit it.
Don't try to hide it.
Nope. Own up to your mistakes, address them directly, explain how you're going to fix them.
That sounds counterintuitive, but I can see how it would be more effective in the long run.
It is. Trying to deny or downplay your errors, you just end up looking worse.
Definitely. And I think people appreciate that honesty. It makes the company seem more human.
Exactly. It goes back to building trust. Wouldn't you rather do business with a company that's honest and transparent?
Absolutely. I know I would.
It shows that they're willing to take responsibility and that they're committed to getting better.
Okay, I'm convinced. Candor is the way to go.
It's a powerful way to build trust with your customers. And in today's world, trust is more valuable than ever.
It really is. Okay, we've covered a lot of ground today. We've talked about perception, leadership, the power of language, embracing the opposite, focus, admitting mistakes, and even navigating all the hype out there. It's been amazing.
And you know what's so brilliant about Ries and Trout's approach? They connect these marketing principles to deeper psychological insights. They understand how our minds work, how we make decisions, and how brands can tap into those processes.
So it's not just about slogans and ad campaigns. It's about understanding human psychology, the psychology of persuasion.
Precisely. That's what makes their laws so relevant, even in today's digital world.
It's like they cracked the code of human behavior. And it seems like these principles can be applied to any industry, any product, any marketing challenge.
It really makes you wonder, though, are these laws truly immutable, as Ries and Trout claim? Are there ever any exceptions?
That's a great question. They've held up pretty well over the years, but the world's changing faster than ever. It makes you wonder if there are any cracks in their immutable armor.
It's definitely something to think about as we look at brands and their strategies. Are they following the rules, or are they breaking them? And if so, are they getting away with it?
This is what I love about these deep dives. We get the tools to see the world in a whole new light. We're not just absorbing information, we're sparking new ideas, challenging assumptions, and thinking critically about how marketing really works.
And you know, as we've been talking about these laws, it struck me that they really emphasize long-term thinking in marketing. It's not just about quick wins or flashy campaigns, it's about building a sustainable brand.
You're right. It's about building something that people trust, believe in, and want to be a part of.
Right, and that takes time, consistency, and a deep understanding of human psychology. It's about creating a brand that resonates with people on a much deeper level.
So it's not just about selling products, it's about building relationships.
Absolutely, and it's also about being adaptable. The marketing landscape is constantly changing with new technologies, new platforms, new ways of reaching consumers.
It's a whirlwind out there. So how do
Yeah.
you stay ahead of the curve?
Well, I think the key is to stay curious, stay adaptable, and never stop learning. The tools might change, the tactics might shift, but these fundamental principles of persuasion, of connecting with people on an emotional level, those are timeless.
So even as the world of marketing changes, the core principles stay the same. It's reassuring to know that some things are constant in this ever-changing world.
Exactly. The world of marketing is fascinating and full of challenges and opportunities. It takes creativity, strategy, and a deep understanding of people. And you know what? Those who embrace the challenge are the ones who will ultimately succeed.
That's inspiring. So what's the next step for someone who wants to apply all this wisdom?
Well, the best way to learn is by doing. Look around at the brands you interact with every day. Can you spot any of these principles at work? Are they following the laws or are they breaking the rules?
It's like a game, right?
Oh,
Once you understand these principles, you start to see marketing everywhere. You can analyze ads, product launches, even social media strategies through this new lens.
exactly. And that's what's so empowering about knowledge. It gives you the ability to see things differently, to make more informed decisions, and to navigate the world with more confidence.
So to recap everything we've covered today, marketing is about
Shaping perceptions, not just focusing on reality. It's about leading the pack or strategically carving out your own space. It's about finding that one word that captures your essence and using it wisely.
And it's about being willing to sacrifice some things to focus on what truly matters, understanding that markets divide, and staying humble in the face of success.
And most importantly, it's about being authentic, transparent, and willing to learn from your mistakes.
That's a powerful set of principles. So are you ready for a challenge?
I think our listeners are up for it. What do you have in mind?
I want you to look at the brands you interact with every day. The ones you love, the ones you hate, even the ones that leave you feeling indifferent. Can you spot any of these laws in action? Are they playing by the rules or are they breaking them? And if so, are they getting away with it?
Ooh, I like this. I'm ready to hear what they come up with.
This is where the real fun begins.
Welcome back. Ready for more marketing gold from Ries and Trout?
Absolutely. It's fascinating how they make these complex ideas so clear, so engaging. I feel like I'm already seeing brands differently.
It's all about having the right framework, the right lens to view things through. And Ries and Trout definitely give us that with their laws.
They really do. So before the break, we were talking about the law of candor, the idea that admitting your flaws can actually make your brand stronger. What other counterintuitive wisdom do these guys have in store for us?
Well, they have this intriguing concept called the law of singularity. It basically challenges the idea that you need this big, complex marketing strategy to succeed. They argue that it's often more effective to focus all your energy on one single, powerful idea, one message.
So instead of trying to do a million things at once, you pick one thing and really nail it.
Exactly. Find that one core message that'll resonate with your target audience and hammer it home relentlessly.
It's like those memorable ad campaigns, the ones that really stick with you. They often have that one simple but powerful message.
Right. Think about Nike's Just Do It. 3 words, but it captures their entire brand philosophy, a call to action, a motivational mantra, and instantly recognizable.
That's so true. And I bet that kind of singularity makes it easier for people to remember your brand too. When there's one clear message, it cuts through all the noise.
Absolutely. It's like a mental hook that grabs their attention and stays with them, creating a lasting impression in a world where everyone's bombarded with information.
This is making me rethink my own approach to communication. I try to cram so much into one message sometimes, and it probably just dilutes the impact.
It's a common mistake. We think more is always better, but often it's the opposite. Focusing on that one powerful idea actually makes your message much stronger. So ask yourself, when you're crafting your marketing strategy, what's the one thing I want people to take away from this?
That's a great question. It's about clarity, focus, finding that core message. Okay, so we've got singularity. What else do we need to know to navigate this complex marketing world?
Well, there's another law that's especially relevant now with social media and all the viral marketing. The law of unpredictability.
Unpredictability. Okay, that sounds a little daunting. Marketing is already complex enough.
I know, right? But the thing is, you can't control everything. No matter how carefully you plan your campaigns, there are always going to be unexpected twists and turns.
So should we just embrace the chaos?
Not quite embrace the chaos, but be ready for it. Don't get too attached to your plans. Be flexible, adaptable, ready to adjust as needed.
Makes sense, especially with social media. Things change so fast. What works today might be old news tomorrow.
Exactly. You've got to be able to roll with the punches, adjust your approach as you go, and sometimes the most unexpected things can turn into your biggest wins.
Like those viral marketing campaigns that just seem to come out of nowhere. No one could have predicted their success.
Right. They're often the result of being in the right place at the right time, with the right message that captures the moment, being open to possibilities, ready to seize unexpected opportunities.
So it's not just about planning, it's about being able to improvise, adapt as you go.
You got it. Have a solid foundation, but be willing to experiment, take risks, and embrace the unexpected.
I love that. Strategy and spontaneity. Okay, so we've covered singularity and unpredictability. What other marketing wisdom is up their sleeve?
Well, they have a really interesting take on how to deal with competition. Call it the law of success, and it might surprise you.
Okay, I'm intrigued. What's their take on success?
They argue that success can actually be a trap. It can make you complacent, arrogant, blind to your weaknesses.
We were talking about the dangers of arrogance earlier. Easy to get caught up in your own hype when things are going well.
Right, and that's when you become vulnerable. Your competitors are watching, learning, and waiting for their chance to take over.
So how do you avoid falling into that trap? How do you stay hungry and stay ahead?
Ries and Trout suggests staying humble. Stay focused on your customers and never stop innovating.
So it's not enough to just achieve success. You've got to keep pushing yourself to evolve and improve.
Exactly. Resting on your laurels is a surefire way to get overtaken. The market is constantly changing. You have to adapt if you want to stay ahead.
It's like the Red Queen in Alice in Wonderland. It takes all the running you can do to stay in the same place.
Perfect analogy. The moment you stop running, you start falling behind.
I'm noticing a pattern here.
Yeah,
A lot of these laws, they're about mindset as much as they are about strategy.
absolutely. Your mindset, your attitude, your approach to marketing these are just as important as the tactics you use.
So to be successful in marketing, you need to be adaptable, open to new ideas, willing to take risks, and humble enough to admit when you're wrong.
You got it. It's a blend of strategic thinking, creative problem solving, and a relentless drive to learn and grow.
This is so inspiring. We're getting masterclass in not just marketing, but in life.
Well, marketing is ultimately about understanding people, and that applies to everything.
Okay, so we've talked about singularity, unpredictability, and the pitfalls of success. Anything else we should be aware of as we continue our marketing journey?
Ries and Trout has some really interesting insights into how to build a lasting brand. They call it the law of extension.
Extension. Okay, I'm curious. What's that all about?
It's about resisting the temptation to overextend your brand. They argue that it's better to focus on building a strong, well-defined brand identity in one core area than to try to stretch your brand into too many different categories.
So brands should stay in their lane.
In a way, yes. Think about what comes to mind when you hear Disney.
Family entertainment, theme parks, animated movies, that sort of thing.
Exactly. They've built a powerful brand around those core concepts. But imagine if they suddenly decided to launch a line of gourmet coffee or a chain of fitness centers.
It would feel weird, right? Like it didn't quite fit their brand image.
Right. It would dilute their brand equity. Consumers would be confused, and the brand would lose its focus.
So it's about understanding your strengths, your core values, and staying true to your brand's essence.
Precisely. It's about building a strong foundation and resisting the temptation to chase every shiny object that comes along.
I'm seeing a theme here: focus, discipline, knowing when to say no.
You got it. It's not about being everywhere, it's about being strong and relevant where you choose to be.
That's a powerful message. It's a reminder that sometimes less is more. It's about making strategic choices that align with your brand's long-term vision.
Exactly. And it's not just about avoiding overextension into new categories. It also applies to how you manage your product line within your core area.
Interesting. So it's not just what you sell, it's about how many things you sell.
Right. They have this principle called the law of line extension. It warns against the temptation to introduce too many variations of the same product.
I can see how that could get messy. You end up with a million different versions of the same thing and everyone's just confused.
Exactly. It clutters the marketplace, dilutes your brand message, makes it harder for people to find what they're looking for.
So instead of trying to be everything to everyone with a million different variations, you should focus on a few core products and make them great.
Exactly. Quality over quantity, clarity over confusion.
And I bet it makes operations more efficient too. Instead of managing a million different SKUs, you can streamline things and focus on what matters.
Absolutely. It simplifies everything: manufacturing, distribution, marketing, sales.
This is making me rethink my approach to everything.
Yeah.
It's so easy to get caught up in that more is better mentality, but I'm starting to see the wisdom in simplifying and focusing.
It's a powerful shift in perspective, and it can apply to so many areas of life, business, personal productivity, creative pursuits.
Okay, so we've talked about singularity, unpredictability, the pitfalls of success, and the dangers of overextension. What else do we need to know to create a brand that truly stands the test of time?
Well, Ries and Trout have some really insightful things to say about the role of perspective in branding. They call it the law of perspective.
Okay, tell me more about perspective.
They argue that marketing effects often take place over an extended period. What might seem like a brilliant marketing move in the short term can actually backfire later on.
So you're saying we need to think long-term, see the bigger picture, not get caught up in immediate results.
Exactly. Taking a more holistic view, understanding that sometimes you have to play the long game.
Like those brands that have built a loyal following over decades. They didn't get there overnight. They consistently delivered quality products, experiences, and built trust over time.
That's a great example. It's about building a brand that people believe in, trust, want to be a part of. Creating a legacy, not just chasing quick profit.
I love that. Building something meaningful, something that lasts.
Right. And it goes back to that idea of authenticity we talked about earlier. Authenticity isn't something you can fake. It's built over time through consistent actions, genuine connections.
This makes me think about the brands that I really admire. The ones that have a real sense of purpose, a genuine commitment to their values.
And those are often the most successful brands in the long run. Because they're not just selling products or services, they're selling a belief system, a way of life.
They're inviting you to join their tribe, be part of something bigger.
Exactly. It's a powerful thing.
Okay, perspective check. Anything else to keep in mind on this marketing journey?
Ries and Trout have some really interesting thoughts on the role of trends in marketing. The law of trend.
Trends, okay? What's their take on those?
They say it's vital to distinguish between a fad and a trend. A fad is hot for a minute, then fades away. A trend has staying power, a fundamental shift in behavior or values.
So how do you tell the difference? How do you know if something's a passing fad or a real trend?
That's the million-dollar question. It's not always easy. Ries and Trout suggest looking for underlying societal shifts that are driving the change.
So it's not just what's cool or popular right now. It's about understanding the deeper forces that are shaping culture.
Exactly. A fad is like a ripple on the water. Fleeting, superficial. A trend is like a current. Deeper, more powerful, has the potential to change everything.
Like the rise of social media.
Yeah.
That wasn't just a fad, it was a fundamental shift in how people connect and communicate.
Right, and it transformed marketing completely.
So how do you capitalize on a trend without getting caught up in a fad?
I think it comes down to understanding your audience, their needs and desires. Anticipate change, adapt your strategy.
Staying ahead of the curve, spotting trends before they hit the mainstream.
Exactly. And be willing to experiment, take risks, try new things.
This is empowering. Marketing can be a force for positive change if you're smart, strategic, and willing to embrace the unknown.
That's what makes it so exciting. Marketing is always evolving, always something new to learn, new challenges, new opportunities.
It's been an incredible journey so far, learning so much about marketing, persuasion, and building a brand that truly connects with people.
It's been great sharing these ideas with you, and honestly, I think we're just scratching the surface of what Ries and Trout have to offer. So many more laws and insights to explore.
I can't wait. This deep dive is turning into a marketing marathon.
And our listeners are up for the challenge. They're smart, curious, and ready to level up their marketing game.
Absolutely, they are. And we're back for the final leg of our deep dive into Ries and Trout's 22 Immutable Laws of Marketing. We've uncovered so much already, from perception to staying agile, focused.
Yeah, it's amazing how these principles apply to so much, not just marketing.
Right, like I'm seeing the world through marketing-colored glasses now.
It's all about the framework. What other marketing gems do these guys have for us in this final act?
I'm ready, hit me with it.
Well, there's this concept, law of mortality. Bit of a sobering one, but important.
Okay, law of mortality, lay it on me.
No product, no brand, no company lives forever. Everything peaks, then declines.
You're saying even the biggest brands eventually fade away.
It's the market reality. Birth, growth, maturity, decline. It's a cycle, and understanding it is key for smart marketing.
So, how do you last longer? Can you even beat the odds, stay on top forever?
No magic formula for immortality, but Ries and Trout suggest constant innovation is key. Adapt to what consumers need. Stay ahead of the competition.
Evolving with the times, right?
Yeah.
Reinventing yourself before it's too late.
Exactly. Be willing to let go of what worked in the past. Embrace new ideas, technologies, new ways to connect with your customers.
Some iconic brands have stayed relevant for decades. They're always changing, experimenting, finding new ways to impress their customers.
Right. Not afraid to take risks, try new things, even fail sometimes. They know failure is often a stepping stone to success.
Makes you think about having a growth mindset. Be open, learn from mistakes, keep pushing, be better.
Absolutely. In marketing and in life, the moment you stop learning, you start declining.
Law of mortality, powerful concept. What else do Ries and Trout have to say about this ever-changing marketing world?
Well, they have this law that challenges the usual approach to market research. The law of substantiation.
Substantiation. Okay, tell me more.
Basically, marketing claims they need solid evidence. It's not enough to make big statements, you have to prove what you're saying.
Not just hype, but substance.
Exactly. People are more skeptical these days, bombarded with messages, quick to spot a fake.
Oh yeah, I'm always looking for proof, for evidence, something to back up those claims.
Right, can't substantiate your claims, you lose credibility, and credibility is everything.
So how do you make sure your claims are believable, trustworthy?
Be honest, be transparent, don't overpromise. Be upfront about limitations, highlight real benefits.
Manage expectations, be realistic about what your product can actually do.
Exactly, and back up your claims with data, research, testimonials, anything that supports your message.
Show, don't just tell. That kind of transparency builds trust.
It does. Honesty and transparency, people are more likely to believe you, do business with you.
A strong foundation for your brand, honesty, integrity, keeping your promises.
That's it. This principle goes beyond marketing too, applies to business and life in general.
It's about being a person of your word.
Right, absolutely. Integrity. People respect that.
Okay, mortality, substantiation. What else should we keep in mind in this marketing maze?
Ries and Trout have a perspective on publicity in marketing. They call it the law of publicity.
Publicity, all right, fill me in.
Publicity, it's a great tool. Build awareness, credibility, but not a long-term strategy on its own. Publicity gets you noticed, marketing keeps you going.
Publicity is the sprint, marketing is the marathon.
Exactly. Publicity creates buzz, excitement, but it's fleeting. Marketing builds lasting relationships with your customers.
Like those companies that get a ton of press for a new product launch, but then fade away. They don't have the marketing muscle to keep it going.
Exactly. They're all hype, no substance, end up a flash in the pan.
So how do you use publicity right without falling into that trap?
Understand its role in your strategy. It gets people talking, but you need good product, a service people want, and a solid plan to turn interest into loyalty.
Use publicity to boost your marketing, not as the whole strategy.
Right. Integrate it into a holistic approach. Product development, pricing, customer service, brand building, everything.
Publicity is one piece of the puzzle, not the whole picture.
Exactly. And remember, publicity cuts both ways. Positive is great, but negative can be a disaster.
Especially with social media these days. News travels fast. One misstep can go viral in a heartbeat.
Exactly. Manage your reputation carefully. Be ready to respond quickly to anything negative that comes up.
Mortality, substantiation, publicity. What else is there in this complex marketing landscape?
One final law from Ries and Trout, super relevant today with all the information overload out there. The law of acceleration.
Acceleration. I'm ready to speed up my marketing knowledge. What's this one about?
Successful marketing isn't built on fads, it's built on trends.
Remind me, what's the difference again?
A fad, it's like a wave. Big splash, lots of energy, then gone. A trend, it's like the tide, gradual but powerful, shapes things over time.
Right. We talked about that. Important to know the difference.
If you build your strategy on a fad, you're setting yourself up to fail. Identify a real trend. Tap into that, you can create something that lasts.
How do you spot a trend then? What are the signs?
Trends come from those deeper societal shifts. Demographics, values, technology, the economy. Connect the dots, see the big picture.
So not just what's hot right now, it's about those underlying forces that shape culture.
Exactly. Anticipate where things are going, position your brand accordingly.
Be a visionary, see the future of the market, get ahead of the curve.
That's what separates the great marketers from the rest. They're not just reacting, they're shaping the change.
That's amazing. Marketing can be a force for positive change if you're smart, strategic, and ready for the unknown.
That's what keeps it exciting. It's always evolving. New things to learn, new challenges, new opportunities to explore.
It's been an incredible journey. I've learned so much about marketing, persuasion, building a brand that truly connects.
It's been great sharing these ideas with you, and honestly, we're just scratching the surface of what Ries and Trout offer. So much more to discover.
Wow, this has turned into a marketing marathon.
And our listeners, they're ready for it. They're engaged, ready to level up their marketing game.
So to wrap up everything from Ries and Trout, marketing, it's a battle for the mind. Understand how people think, make decisions, how to influence their perception.
Be first, be different, find your niche and lead it.
Focus your energy, say no to distractions, build a strong brand identity.
Be authentic, be transparent, learn from those mistakes.
Embrace change, adapt to new challenges, never stop innovating.
Powerful principles we can all use in marketing and in life.
As you go out there, armed with this knowledge, remember, stay curious, stay creative, and never stop challenging the status quo.
Because marketing is always evolving, the only way to stay ahead is to keep learning, keep growing, and push those boundaries.
Great way to put it. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the 22 Immutable Laws of Marketing.
Thanks for having me. Really enjoyed our conversation.
And a huge thanks to our listeners. We hope you enjoyed exploring the world of marketing with us.
If you're inspired, put these ideas into action. Share your thoughts, ideas, experiences with us.
We love hearing from you. Best way to learn is by doing. Get out there, experiment, take risks, and don't be afraid to fail.
In the world of marketing, the only real failure is not trying at all.
That's a perfect note to end on. Until next time, keep those marketing minds engaged, and remember, perception is everything.
And so is the will to learn, to grow, and make a difference.
That's a wrap on another deep dive. See you next time for more insights into the forces shaping our world.